Behind the Curtain: How Privately Funded Media Operates as Intelligence Infrastructure. This report investigates the growing evidence that major media organizations, while operating under the banner of free press and independent journalism, often function as de facto intelligence arms serving private interests. These interests are not aligned with public transparency, but rather with influence operations, narrative control, and geopolitical leverage. The research suggests that the editorial agendas of many media outlets are directly shaped by the entities that fund them, be it corporate conglomerates, political donors, defense contractors, or intelligence-linked institutions. While journalism is traditionally seen as the fourth estate, holding power to account, an increasing body of evidence suggests that many leading media outlets operate as privately controlled instruments of psychological influence, functioning in tandem with or parallel to state and corporate intelligence objectives. This behavior is often invisible to the public, masked behind polished anchors and curated headlines. Funding and influence. Who pays the piper? Most mainstream media outlets are owned by a handful of conglomerates. These parent companies maintain cross-interests with defense contractors, intelligence-linked technology firms, pharmaceuticals, and global banking interests. Most media outlets depend on private funding through advertising, corporate ownership, or sponsorship from think tanks and foundations. These funding sources often come with expectations. Amazon's Jeff Bezos owns the Washington Post through Nash Holdings LLC. Bezos also holds major contracts with the CIA and Department of Defense via Amazon Web Services. CNN is owned by Warner Brothers. Discovery, a conglomerate whose board members include individuals with defense and intelligence affiliations. The Guardian, while claiming independence, has received millions in support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, known for shaping global health narratives. This financial dependence has led to editorial bias, where certain topics, for example military interventions, pharmaceutical criticism, intelligence operations, are filtered or spun in alignment with funders' interests, financial strings. Who pays the wages? Media operations are funded through advertising from corporations with geopolitical interests, private donors, foundations, and political PACs, defense and intelligence community contracts, especially in tech media hybrid ventures. These funding sources do not exist in a vacuum. They shape editorial lines, suppress counter-narratives, and marginalize dissent. Case in point. During the COVID-19 pandemic, media heavily leaned on pharmaceutical industry talking points, while silencing dissenting medical opinions, many of which were later vindicated or found to be credible. Major advertisers included Pfizer, Moderna, and associated lobbying arms, the revolving door, journalists and intelligence agencies. There is a long-standing and well-documented relationship between intelligence agencies and journalists. Operation Mockingbird, the CIA, 1950s to 1970s. A program revealed during church committee hearings that involved recruiting journalists to spread propaganda. Declassified documents revealed the CIA's successful infiltration of major U.S. newsrooms. Journalists were paid, planted, and guided to influence public opinion during the Cold War. Networks such as CBS, Time, and the New York Times were reportedly involved. Former intelligence officers often transition into media roles as national security analysts, blurring the line between objective reporting and narrative engineering. For example, John Brennan, ex-CIA director, became a senior analyst for NBC. James Clapper, ex-DNI, is a regular contributor to CNN. British intelligence has long maintained ties with journalists to plant stories in foreign and domestic publications, with select media figures doubling as informants or propaganda assets. In modern settings, intelligence-linked think tanks regularly feed narratives to friendly outlets. Leaks and anonymous sources often reflect strategic releases from government or corporate interests rather than genuine whistleblowing. Media as a soft power weapon. Privately funded media often serves as a soft power tool, projecting influence under the guise of journalism. Narrative warfare. Stories are selected and framed not purely to inform, but to influence public perception, shift political sentiment, or justify policy. For example, Iraq weapons of mass destruction, Syria chemical attacks, information gatekeeping. Whistleblowers and dissidents like Julian Assange, Edward Snowden, and others are discredited or ignored, while intelligence leaks that align with official narratives are widely promoted. Psychological operations and culture shaping. Modern media doesn't just report news, it manufactures consensus. Cultural engineering via entertainment, news, and social media platforms promotes values that align with elite agendas. Intelligence agencies and private contractors collaborate on psychological operations through social media bots, influencer partnerships, and news framing. Behavioral manipulation and narrative control. Modern media doesn't merely inform, it programs behavior. Neural framing techniques, repetition of specific words and images. Agenda-setting theory, choosing what to cover and what to ignore. Priming and emotional triggering, to sway public mood when tied to intelligence. Such tools serve strategic psychological operations, shaping elections, manufacturing consent for war, or shifting societal norms. Media as an intelligence proxy in the digital age, with AI and data analytics. Media now predicts public reactions using behavioral models, targets individuals with customized propaganda, runs disinformation campaigns with plausible deniability. Private-public partnerships blur the lines between traditional media, social platforms, and intelligence contractors. Conclusion: the press is not free, it's owned. What emerges is a picture of a media landscape where freedom of the press is conditional, limited by the interests of those who pay the bills. Whether through direct ownership, advertising revenue, or covert influence, media increasingly serves private intelligence functions, shaping thought, steering elections, and managing dissent. The modern media ecosystem is deeply entangled with intelligence networks, both state-run and private. When ownership, funding, and narrative alignment are traced back, what emerges is not an unbiased free press, but a corporate intelligence apparatus engineered to maintain power, perception, and compliance. Journalists who resist this structure often find themselves marginalized, censored, or discredited, until transparency becomes mandatory and true independence is incentivized. Media will remain less a servant of the people and more a mouthpiece of the interests that pay its wages.